Before we accomplish something, a new task, we always have an idea of what it means, and only when we've done it can we say, well, this is what it actually looks like. If you've never learned a foreign language before, you're at the stage where you don't see clearly the road ahead. And it's nothing to feel bad about, and it's perfectly natural. Only the very best coaches in the world have a structured understanding of a language. I always say language teaching, language learning mimics other aspects of life. If you look at sports, for example, there are many great athletes. Not all of them become great coaches. It's not because you're a great basketball player, a great football player, that you become a great coach. I don't know if language teaching is necessarily broken as an industry, although certain days I do feel that way, but what does it tell us that high schools are struggling to find qualified teachers when at the same time the online tutoring platforms are overflowing with tutors? What does that tell us? It either means that the tutors are all former teachers who now work online on these platforms, which is highly unlikely, or that most tutors are unqualified. I think the internet's made it possible for everyone to try their hand at language tutoring, creating language apps, opening language learning platforms. Then on the other side of the spectrum, there are the legacy schools comfortably sitting on their outdated methods, such as group classes and abstract language levels, A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, whatever that means. The main obstacle for the adult learner getting back into French will be mental mostly, but it won't be the learning French part that will be most challenging. It will rather be the fact of understanding what's expected of you and knowing where you stand on the map of French. The hardest part for the learner is when they're standing on this road to French, is seeing clearly the road ahead. But this part is impossible, so you're always moving forward in a sort of mist. You don't clearly know what you're going towards. You don't see the finishing line from where you stand. And it's quite normal, it's quite understandable, because if you did see clearly where you're going, it would also mean that you're a specialist of French and you're an expert at French. And if even the majority of tutors don't see clearly, there's really little chance that the learner see clearly. So typically if you're a beginner, but even if you're a mid-level learner, you'll not be able to separate the trivia from the core necessary skills, and you'll not understand how much further you need to progress until you officially know French comfortably. And this is why the right coach is so important. And still on the topic of the internet, another thing I would advise someone to do is not listen to the masses. Don't listen to the masses. Everyone has an opinion, and the internet is full of opinions on how a language should be learned, but very few of these people ever completed a master's degree in linguistics, and fewer still are qualified teachers or educators. Do you need a master's in linguistics to learn a language? Of course not. But you probably do want to be able to engage in what we call metacognition, to take a step back on your own practices and to analyze language as a science and understand the process, understand the structural parts of a language and understand the process. And it's a certain frame of mind that you acquire through these types of studies. I think all language learners, and beginners especially, should understand that they have no clue what to do as beginners, and they will fall prey to any solution that seems to carry a semblance of common sense. Don't listen to the merchants of shortcuts. There aren't any to be found. The rules of the game in language learning are still the same challenges as they were a century ago and before that. The internet did not create a breakthrough in language learning. As someone who's always reflecting on the language teaching industry and the different possibilities, I feel that I'm seeing more and more clearly in the landscape, in the industry, in what's available. And it must be harder still for a novice, for someone who decides to pick up a language and start learning it. It's so hard to see clearly in the landscape. I mean, it's hard for me, and it's my job to see where the gaps are, who's doing what, who's teaching what, according to which method. It's very hard. to see clearly. And my opinion at the moment is there are certainly many places to learn languages, but few places to really learn them. There's volume, yeah, but true opportunities, I think even the legacy schools might not be the place to go to.